Hello boys and girls and welcome to part 4 of Gitbag the Great's 2017 USA holiday vlog. In this episode we'll be looking at the adventures I had during a organised coach trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles organised by GAT360. I hope you all enjoy. Basically what I did is on the night of the 1st of July I met up with a bunch of travellers and supervisors from a company called Gitbag who work alongside this other company called GAT360 to provide people with organised tour trips across countries like the USA. And what we did is on the first night, on the 1st of July, we just met up in San Francisco at a little sort of hostel sort of place and just chilled out and got to know each other. And then on the second day we went to this national park that you can see in these couple of shots here that we're driving past. The main aim of the trip really was just to get a bit of like the nature and the sort of sights and sounds of the USA for me. I really wanted to see some of like the national parks. As you can see here, just the natural beauty on its own was fine enough for me at times. This stuff here was on the 2nd of July, on the second day of the tour trip, and I can't remember the exact name of this particular park, but it was magnificent, this one. It was characterised mainly by having these huge trees that had all either been hollowed out or fallen down that were then used as like viewing points and bridges, and it was magnificent. And on top of that, as with a great number of the other national parks in the USA, they were open to nature, so you would see animals like these deers here just roaming around. It was great for people who like that sort of thing. I mean, I love animals. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, but I do like watching animals frolic around in the wild, and seeing just the sights of the environment that these animals lived in was, it was beautiful. It was really nice and relaxing after the hustle and bustle of San Francisco and Seattle. It was definitely worth it. What's quite good as well is in many of these national parks they would be very closely organised and regulated, so that in a lot of cases you'd have internal tram systems or bus systems running around so that if you got lost in a certain part of the park you wouldn't be too lost. Now, this wasn't the case with every single one. In this one where we're driving by now, they had that sort of thing at certain points, but not absolutely everywhere. And then the one where we're going to see next, I don't think they even did at all. And that's because on day 4 we visited the infamous Death Valley, which is the lowest and driest place in all of the United States of America, and let me tell you, they aren't lying. This place was just filled to the brim with massive valleys and salt lakes, and it was boiling hot, but it was made up for by the fact that it had some of the dunes from the scenes where they filmed the Tatooine scenes in Star Wars Episode 4, which, for a Star Wars fan like myself, that was a definitely added bonus. I had to take a pose with the Charlton flag there. And then later on that same day, actually, we then stopped off in Las Vegas. I must admit, though, I wasn't really able to join in some of the festivities, like going out clubbing or going out gambling and stuff. And not just because I have pretty bad luck and I can be a bit of a uncoordinated plonker sometimes, but also because on the day of our arrival in Las Vegas on day 4 of this tour trip, I had contracted hay fever, and I was feeling particularly under the weather. Not only that, but I also had a bit of heat exhaustion, and I hadn't really been drinking enough water, so I was a bit dehydrated. So everyone else went out partying on my trip while I kind of just stayed in my hotel room in the Golden Nugget. And I did, to be fair, go out for a little bit to see this light show near the main lobby of the Golden Nugget, which was fairly impressive actually. I mean, I didn't go crazy over it because it was just such a different thing to what I'm used to seeing in the UK, but I'm glad I saw it, to be fair. Still, hay fever is nothing that some antihistamine tablets and a visit to a crazy American supermarket can't restore, nor seeing some replica helmets being sold at a 7-Eleven. I noticed some of these helmets actually are replicas of like the ones worn by some of the characters in the film Gladiator. Honestly, like, I'm so glad I did this little tour trip halfway through my holiday, because it was just nice enough just to see the sights and sounds. As you can see here, this is Grand Canyon, and this just made the whole tour trip by itself. Honestly, Grand Canyon was the greatest thing I saw on my whole holiday to the USA this year. I mean, you hear stories of how magnificent it is in real life and that it isn't anything like how it's portrayed in the movies and on TV, and all those. They're all correct. It is magnificent in real life. Definitely recommend seeing it. And to make it even better, when we camped right near the main visitor centre on our side of the Grand Canyon that night, we got to see some elk, which was really nice. Some cow elk in particular, very, very majestic breed of creature, and there was quite a few of them walking around actually, more than one family at least, and each one had at least 4 or 5 animals in it. And all this on the 6th day was followed by visiting Joshua Tree National Park on the 7th day, which wasn't as impressive, but again, still glad I went to see it. I did go on a particularly punishing 45-minute hike, which got the heart beating, I'll tell you that. But again, very definitely worth seeing. Again, if you're going past this place as well, I'd still recommend it, even though it isn't as impressive. In any case, that concludes this part of the USA 2017 holiday vlog mini-series. I know this episode was a bit more haphazard, but that's kind of the nature of this part of the holiday. It was kind of just a lot of balancing of camping, driving, visiting all these national parks. It was a bit crazy at times, and I had a bit of trouble filming it all. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, have fun with whatever you're doing, and until next time, I've been Gitbag the Great, and I'll see you on the battlefield.